Hello, hello. Hey, Stan, how are you? Well, let us give a minute for anybody else to come in. Hey, nah, I don't want to hear that. Hey, I don't even have my book ready. So we're going to be, hey, Freedom Fighter, I just saw you join the Discord. Thank you. Appreciate it. We're going to be reading chapter 3. Hey, Nomad. Thank you for the background, by the way. Switch some things around, huh? Hey, Linda. Let me see. Nomad rocks. So, all right. I'm moving my camera a little bit. I don't know how I feel about it. Uh, get a little retentive about it. So, chapter 3. When the superior man hears the way, he's scarcely able to put it into practice. When the middling man hears the way, he appears now to preserve it. Hey, Glock, now to lose it. When the inferior man hears the way, he laughs at it loudly. If he did not laugh, it would not be fit to be the way. For this reason, there is a series of epigrams that say, the bright way seems dim, the forward way seems backward, the level way seems bumpy, superior integrity seems like a valley, the greatest whiteness seems grimy, ample integrity seems insufficient, robust integrity seems apathetic, plain truth seems sullied. The great square has no corners. The great vessel is never completed. The great note sounds muted. The great image has no form. The way is concealed and has no name. Indeed, the way alone is good at beginning and good at completing. Okay. So let's get into some analysis of this. Hope everybody's having a good day and now afternoon. Oh. So, not to honor men of worth will keep people from contention, not to value goods which are hard to come by, will keep them from theft. Not to display what is desirable will keep them from being unsettled of mind. The Tao Te Ching begins by telling me to rid myself of desires, yet also to always allow myself to have desires. If we go back to chapter 1, this fits well with something and nothing produce each other. Desire and non desire must also produce each other. The key for me is having these in balance. This is necessary to keep me from being unsettled of mind, but I always seem to have a surplus of desire, even in my desire to rid myself of desire. Hey, Wingspan, hope you're feeling well. Living as simple a life as possible cuts down on honoring men of worth, valuing goods which are hard to come, and displaying what is desirable. This keeps me from being unsettled of mind. But when I'm settled of mind, I soon get restless. I think biology is at work here. After all, if I were able to feel settled easily, I would struggle less for survival. I can get around this somewhat by valuing, honoring, and desiring the way. As the Christian scriptures say, lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So I can see two meanings. Not to value goods which are hard to come by will keep them from theft. The obvious one is that if society didn't value one thing over any other thing, no one would be motivated to steal. Who steals garbage, for example? Except maybe raccoons. But more personally, the less I value goods, the less I feel robbed when somebody takes my stuff. Only experience being robbed if I'm holding on to the object being taken from me. Plants take water to live. Animals take plants to live. People take animals to live. Life would be impossible without taking. How is theft different from taking? I can't see any true difference. Theft is only what I experience when circumstances take away that to which I value and which is hard to come by. For example, I don't mind you breathing or taking the air in my house, even though I value it. When I value reflects what I deem my life to be worth. To paraphrase the first verse, the life that can be named is not the constant life. That the life that can be named is not the constant life. When I let go of worldly value, I move closer to an eternal constant life, or is it the other way around? Probably. I do notice that the more I sense the eternal, the easier it is to let go of the worldly values. In the meantime, it helps to block the openings and shut the doors. Well, Wingspan, you'll be in our thoughts and prayers and positive vibes, either of which anyone can send. Hey, Misty. Therefore, in governing the people, the sage empties their mind but fills their bellies, weakens their wills but strengthens their bones. He always keeps them innocent of knowledge and free from desire, and ensures that the clever never dare to act. This chapter and numerous others that follow imply a downside to desire. On the other hand, no mention of it is ever made of there being a problem with having too few desires. What a contrast this is from our modern consumer culture. We cherish our knowledge, indulge our desire, and praise clever action. Progress and growth are virtues we have come to base a meaningful life on. I think of this last 10,000 years of human history as the necessary first half of the cycle. If you would have a thing laid aside, you must first set it up. We'll get to that in chapter 36. I see the extremists, both left and right, taking on this paternalistic role. They see themselves as sage, like in their understanding, but their compulsive need to take action gives them away. How does one ensure that the clever never dare to act and yet do that which consists in taking no action? I only know this to be possible in governing myself. Then, in a small way, as I govern myself with wisdom, I teach others by this example, just as others have taught me. The sage in each of us helps in the governing of all of us. Governing the people is only necessary in a social group. Here, cooperation is essential for two or more people to get along. Strong wills, desires, and cleverness, power, competition, and anarchy, which make social cohesion difficult. The same is true in the coexistence between the various sides to my personal life. Suffer the most inner chaos when will, desire, and cleverness take over. Only by surrendering these forces do I experience real peace. Do that which consists in taking no action, and order will prevail. Getting my life in order is the main motivation behind action. When I sense something imperfect, I act to set it right. Of course, this sensation of imperfection isn't telling me about the external reality of a situation. It's telling me about myself and my relationship to the way. Thus, the more I tune into the natural order of things, the more I do that which consists in taking no action. The real lesson for me in taking no action and order will prevail is that action never really achieves its ideal of final resolution. Action begets action, which parallels the old saying, you can't fight fire with fire. This helps me to expect less in the way of results from my actions. And this keeps me from being unsettled of mind. Action, like desire, is a never ending cycle. Each desire resolved returns me to the beginning from which another desire springs. There is much movement without going anywhere, and that's okay. It's like breathing. All is well as long as I don't expect each breath to get me someplace special. So that's kind of like we read in Proverbs today about not expecting not expecting tomorrow because it's let me quote it correctly. Do not boast about tomorrow, for you know not what the day will bring forth. So this the Tao Te Ching goes even further and says each breath, if you're not expecting the next breath, then it helps you let go of that desire. Taking is the key word here. When I live with more giving actions than taking actions, excuse me, sorry. Lunch was talking back. Um, so taking actions, order does prevail. Giving action is doing what I ought to do and requires emotional surrender. Taking action is doing what I want to do and feeds on my passionate and compulsive emotions. I think that's a hard habit to get out of, right? Is acting on our passions and compulsions. Um, is it always a bad thing? I really don't know. I mean, hey, double D's, newly married D minus one, D plus one, excuse me, D plus one. I hope happiness continues always. Um, but passion and compulsiveness, I really do think sometimes is a good thing in our personal lives, in being passionate and not I don't guess necessarily compulsive, but um thoughtful interactions. Uh, what's the word I'm looking for when you just say, "Oh, okay, let's go. We're gonna go on a trip." I can't think of the word. Um, acting in the spur of the moment, since I can't think of the individual word, and I don't want to hold you guys up. These are supposed to be short. Um, anyway, I can't believe I can't think of the word. Um, cannot take action when the urges are great enough. Nothing can stop them. Certainly not the words of this verse, but it is very helpful. Kiddo, spontaneous. Thank you. Lifesaver. Coming in hot. Um, but it's very helpful to know this simple rule of nature. Then, when order isn't prevailing, I'll know why. Otherwise, I'll start looking for still more action to solve the problem. Taking no action is like hanging off a cliff and clinging onto a branch. Clinging is the action. I'm taking and I'm doing so for dear life. If I let go, I'll fall into the void below. Only when I feel some faith in that emptiness do I begin to let go. I begin to see safety in nothingness and the void as peace. I need this inner sense of security first. Having that, I naturally let go and do more which, of that which consists in taking no action. Essentially, it is the fear of the void, death, which compels us to take action. Hey, listen, Linda. Listen, that listening is the most important part. There's not much to see here other than me scrolling through thoughts. Um, so, and yet, the void is where I'll spend eternity. Knowing the complementary nature of life and death, that their two are the same. And that goes back to chapter 1. Helps moderate, or at least want to moderate. But moderation is taking action, right? So, so there is some contradiction in 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 some Eastern thought. I believe it's hard to it's hard to imagine without practice, I guess. Um, Taking no action. My survival instinct moderate our survival instinct to act. So there we have it. Um, that's chapter 3 um, of the way. This one's kind of heavy thought for me. Just thinking about doing nothing. I'm not a I'm not that kind of person. So maybe putting that into practice would be helpful. Again, I love the complementary nature of how this relates back to what we discussed this morning. Um, yeah, I yeah, I think I like how the series are building on each other. So we'll see what Orwell has to give us in about an hour and a half, and it'll be interesting to see um, the if it converges any with these. Um, you guys have a good next hour and a half, and I will see you guys shortly if you can. If you can just listen, and yeah. Yes, I love the Tao of Pooh. Bruce Lee had some good philosophies, double D's. He he definitely was a different human being. Um, Very disciplined. Yeah, yeah. To have that discipline would be uh would be fantastic. I got to get rid of this curl. Growing my hair out as my Jewish curls are going. But anyway, if there's no questions, I will Didn't hurt. No, no, it didn't hurt at all. I don't know. It just looks weird. I'll catch it like even in shadows, uh, walking around. But my daughter, my youngest, is highly against me cutting my hair again. So it is extremely curly. It takes a lot to straighten it out. I I know my barbers do. So and the grays underneath. Thank y'all. I will see you guys in a bit. Embrace the curl. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right. Let me put my Discord server back up. One more time. I know Misty and Freedom Fighter jumped in there. Hey, VOP, how are you? All right. I'll see you guys at 4.